It is about 50 degrees. It is balmy outside, and there's a strong wind, which means we're going to get some storms tonight. So while I've got some nice weather today, we need to get this here planter hooked onto my tractor because it's supposed to rain and snow over the weekend and most of next week. So in order to get this here planter out of here, I got to move the feed grinder. I got to move that old wagon there. I got to move the corn head. And I got to move my doors. I've got an electrician here because in the blizzard, that power line there started coming off of the barn and was sagging down pretty good. So it came unattached and was basically hanging by its own connection up there where he's hooking stuff together. And meanwhile, some of my bigger damage was in this building. The door's coming off and decided to lay on the ground. Here's part of a door here. At one point during that blizzard, I was standing right about over here, and I think it was that door was flipped all the way up, straight up in the air, and you can kind of see one little kink in the power line right about in there. That was actually holding the door straight upright like this. So while I've got an electrician here to fix that line, we're going to take care of that little hitch and make sure the connections there and up there where it comes off of that building are good and not going to have this all fall apart. But in the meantime, I don't have doors on this building, which isn't the end of the world really, as long as we don't get any snow. These doors were bad already. I was having trouble keeping them down. It took rocks and weights and all kinds of stuff to keep them from flapping around, even in a moderate wind. They would in and out and in and out and in and out. It would pull on the tracks up on top where those rollers go back and forth like that. So they were getting bad. You can see maybe some pieces I'd put in there and made to try to get those to hold in. But you can see some of those rotten pieces, parts of the header up there. Lag screws would just pull right out and the doors would just sit down on the ground and not lock up real straight. They'd be tight at the top, and there'd be a pretty good few inch gap here at the bottom, and then they'd drag. And then the bottom of the doors, they started getting rotten and going like this. So these doors were bad. I knew this was bound to happen someday. So I got some door work to do. So I've also got to get these guys out of the way, which is what that guy is for. Then I'm going to have to spend some time magneting all this gravel. Make sure there's no nails left behind. And then I got to get those things out of the way. And then I can go wake up a tractor and a semi and open doors in a 20-mile-an-hour wind on the bigger machine shed so I can get that thing hooked up. And then hooking that thing up, once I get it picked up, all those hoses, wires, cables, a PTO pump hanging off of there, that can take the better part of an hour just to get those things all done correctly. And then while it's nice out, we can play with it a little bit, unfold it, fold it up, kind of move on. So I suppose let's get started with the cleanup process. Well, here's my haul. I don't have that much stuff in there anyway, so I don't know, there's probably a couple dozen nails, a chain that used to hold the door together. Also found that this little pebble here got picked up out of the driveway. It's got enough iron to it that it's magnetic. Don't think I've ever seen a magnetic rock floating around in my yard before, but there's one. It's getting toasty already. I'll step into the shop here for a second, get out of the wind. Hopefully you can hear me that way. And the door rattling. So now we're going to start up the semi, get that out of the way, and then I think I can start up my tractor that I plant with and get that over there, and we'll hook things up. What I'm hoping is that the semi will start. It's been a little bit temperamental with the battery. So we will, before we get too far, even going so far as to open the doors. Oh, I got a pickup in the way too. That's not hard to move. Get this stuff out of the way, then we can go get a planter hooked up. Well, the lights are on nice and bright. That's a good sign for getting the key to start. A little bit of dust in the belt, which happens in here. Out of air, that's to be expected. Good to go. Good to go. Now while I'm getting the air to pump up in there so the brakes will allow for the truck to move, I gotta start up a pickup. We gotta start up the, there's my planter tractor, and get these doors opened up. Well, then I suppose we better have a quick moment of truth with my 280, which is the planter tractor. It's only been sitting here for a couple days, so in theory, it should start. This thing is unbelievably cold-blooded. I would bet you on the dash there it says cold start. I bet you that light comes on. Yep, cold start. Think about it. Warming up. Warming up. There we go. Now we're ready to push the clutch and start it. Oh yeah, happy tractor. Got my monitors in here. Oh, I gotta get my other planter monitor in here yet. We'll get that in a little while. That out without any major events. So we'll take this back over to the shop, pop the door open, pull inside on the concrete, and begin the process of getting this thing hooked up and attached. Well, first thing we got to do is get this hammer strap type hitch off of here, because the PTO pump is going to be in the way of that. This isn't hard to do. It's a lot easier to do when I don't have the planter sitting on here, and normally I'm smart enough to do it that way. We got to put this on the highest setting here, don't we? There we go. In there a little bit. Next order of business is that PTO shaft there gets a pump mounted to it, and that's what runs the vac system, which pulls the seed and sucks them onto the planter plates, so you're a lot more accurate. The problem is when you put this on here, and it runs nice and warm and hot for several days, or several weeks actually. It gets itself rusted on there so good you can't get it off again later in the summer. So I've learned to get some brake cleaner and a wire brush and get these splines scrubbed as clean as possible and get as much rust and dirt and everything out of here as I can. And to the best of my abilities, I'll do it on the inside of the pump cover as well. And get that side nice and clean. And then I grease it. Get the grease gun real good when I put it on. My brake clean is out. I think I got enough on there to do what I want. I'll get the air compressor, blow that off the rest of the way. So just to be a little over the top, I'm going to give it a quick shot of chain lube actually. Make it all kinds of nasty. And then we hit it with the grease gun. Get that to get on all the way around. That'll be a great plenty, but I'd rather overdo it than underdo it at this point. And I'm going to do the same with the pump. Well, here's the pump, and there's a coupler that goes on that shaft. Look at that dew come out of there. Get that cleaned up as much as we can here. Is that an over-the-top gooey mess? Yep. But I have spent a half a day trying to get that pulled off with a come-along chained to the planter and playing with the 3-point up and down to get just the right angle to where it would pop loose and then it goes flying back. So, is it overkill? Yes. Is it worth it? Absolutely. All right, so currently the pump is sitting in the stand that holds the planter up. So you'll get to see a little bit here. That pump runs hydraulic fluid up this line and into here, well, out of here and into the pump, and then back in through all the other pieces. So for now, we got to get the pump and the 2 lines up and over to the 3-point harness connector. Over you go. Oh, that weighs good. I don't know. 550 pounds. Whew. Now, let's get you up and on here. I got to take out this bolt. Locks it all in. And you got to get over this one. Like so. Okay. That on there perfectly. Now I've got an issue. That got bent, and that doesn't connect all the way up to here. So not only does that hole not line up, I can't reach that to get through there. That's new. I wonder how that happened. No. Got some fixing to do. We got to bend that somehow, and that's 1/4 inch steel. That ain't gonna bend real good. That's not gonna bend real good. Well, I got a couple ideas on how to address this. We'll see if any of them stick. Ooh. First solution is quick grip hooked on the back of there and pulling up against the bottom of this bracket. If that can get me pulled in enough. Plan B, I don't get this to work either. Put a big pipe wrench on there. I don't think I'm going to be able to get anywhere doing that either. Ow. Well, I think what I'm gonna try to do, see if I gotta move that and get it into place. Maybe that will help. Loosen you up. That. Now I can put that right where I want it. And put you in place. Make the rest of it happy to match. And one. And number two. There we go. I do believe that the PTO pump is hereby attached. Let's get this one more quick check up here where that hooks up. Just a little more. I don't want that coming off. Okay, well, we got that on. Good talk. All right, now we got to hook up all the rest of the hoses in that jumbled mess back there. But in order to do that, I need to, well, it's a lot easier if I have the 3-point hitch that's holding the planter up down closer to the ground. But I've got these stands in the way yet. Now that I've got the pump that's sitting in there for filling out of the way, I'm going to get these up and out. Well, we'll start her up and set her down a little bit so I can get in there better. All right, now let's start locating hoses and figuring out where they all hook up. Well, I suppose here goes nothing. I got everything hooked up at least once. It's not very often that I hook it up once and everything's correct and functional and happy and all that, so we will lift you up again. Make sure I'm not pulling nothing apart. That wasn't good. A whole lot faster than I'm used to that. I don't love how those electrical connections rub against that top plate really either. We got this all on, so we'll back up. Got Rocco in here with me, so I don't have to worry about running him over. You're okay, buddy. Rocco doesn't like beeping sounds. He's got a little PTSD with that. All right, now. All right, let's try this. Switch the hoses around. Got them hooked up actually. One had jumped out, and I'm pretty sure it was backwards. Let's try lowering the wing wheels, even though they're already down. Let's see if that action goes the direction it should. This wants to be up when I start this process. Okay, so I think that's correct. Lower the wing wheels is to put back. And I want them down, so that should be correct. Okay, lower the center section, push forward. Good. Set the wings back. Lower hitch to unfold wings. Woo! That had some tension on there. That had some tension. Also, get rid of the parking brake. Keep going forward. That part works. Yeah, I got a little tension. Yep. Let's just see what's going on here. Now, let's see if marker arm goes down when I send that down. Looks correct. Alright. Now, just because I can do that, I'm going to shut that marker arm off. Tell it to put the other one down. Looks like it. We got the right side, we got the left side. Now, just for fun, I'm going to tell it to do both. And I can make it do both. Usually, I actually use neither. Oops, I didn't get that one all the way up, did I? Try this again. It should lift it all the way up if I have it shut off. Yep, keep pulling. There we go. There we are. That looks operational.